Hello there. I'm Scotty Yornut. Welcome back to Halloween Horror Month. Winding down the scheduled reviews, we're talking about the number 23. On the 28th, I should have scheduled this for the 23rd. I didn't think about it. This was one of those last minute changes, so I just kind of went with it. I actually think this is an underrated, I said it before, an underrated Jim Carrey film. It's a decent film, I think, in my opinion. It's directed by Joel Schumacher. It stars Jim Carrey, Virginia Madsen, Danny Houston, Logan Lerman, Lynn Collins, Rona Mitra. Decent cast. And it revolves around the character of Walter Sparrow, who is given this book by his wife on his birthday. As he starts reading it, not only does he find some resemblance to his early life, but also the number 23, which is based on the enigma of the number 23, where everything is somehow connected back to the number 23. Seems to follow him around and connect back to things in his life and his name and everything. And it leads to a murder mystery that unfolds throughout the film that I think is done pretty decently. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. A lot of people hate on this movie, which is fine, you know. But I've always liked it. I've always thought this was a nice thriller, an underrated Jim Carrey film. I said that Liar Liar is my favorite. Bruce Almighty's next. This may be number 3 for me as Jim Carrey movies go. It's a serious film compared to his comedic films. I haven't seen some of his other serious films like Majestic or Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but I've never gotten a hate on this movie. Yes, there are some things that are a little bit out there, especially when it comes to the twist and everything, and some of the conclusions that the character makes, especially towards the end of the film. But yeah, so Walter Sparrow is a normal, ordinary dog catcher who um, who is told about who tells, about what happened a few months earlier at a party that his wife was too sick to attend. The dispatcher hit on him, and he basically told her that he wouldn't have sex with her if she was the last bitch on the earth, whatever. And so now she's like being very mean to him. He's got 1 minute left of his shift, and she goes, "Oh, well then we both agree you're still on the clock." So he has to take down this dog. Now already we see the number 23 at work because this is his birthday, February 3rd, 2-3. I was born on February 20th, so that's 220. That doesn't make any sense at all. Right? Not at all. So my number 23 is not there. But he meets this dog, and I caught on it before the character in the movie did. I haven't seen it in years, so one of the reasons why I would review this sooner. But my copy, I think actually I did this for, Pick Your Poison. I picked this for Jim Carrey pick, and my copy didn't work. It wouldn't read the disc. I don't know why. This wasn't scratched. It looked perfectly fine. Wouldn't read it. So I had to buy a new copy, and finally, here we are. So he finds this dog that he finds is named Ned. And I looked at the name Ned, and I went, is there something with that name? So I counted it out. N is the 14th letter of the alphabet. E is the 5th letter of the alphabet. D is the 4th letter. 14 plus 5 plus 4 equals 23. Something that he does come to the conclusion of later in the film, but not here. Because of this, he is late, and he ends up. He even says that if he had, if everything had went a different way, he would have been on time. She never would have found the book, but he was late, so she found the book, and she buys it for him. Now, I've seen other reviews. People jump to the conclusion they think that his wife knew about the twist all along. She knows about the events in the book. She's read the book. We know this because later she throws a twist in the book. Oh, Fingerling does this. When he starts throwing out that a lot of things are similar to his life. But so she read the book, but that's about her extent. She doesn't know the twist until things start to happen. So he reads the book. It's about Detective Fingerling. When Fingerling was a kid, his father committed suicide, which Walter's dad also did. And he grew up alone, just like Walter did. And he became a detective, and he meets the Suicide Blonde. The Suicide Blonde is the one, she's played by Lynn Collins, and, of Wolverine Origins fame. Or X-Men Origins Wolverine, whatever. And she's the one that, brings him in on the number 24. That sets him on a path. He has this conversation with her where he thinks that he gets rid of her, but she still commits suicide because the numbers got her. That's why this whole thing is about, that the number is doing this. It's the number, it's the number, it's the number. Right? So after this, it's explained that he's also seeing a woman named Fabricia, who in the flashback is played by Virginia Madsen, but we find out it's a different person later. It's weird because these characters are supposed to be either in their early 20s, but they're being played by those in their 40s at this point. So it's kind of, in the mid-mighty mo, it's kind of, but it's kind of, you have to drop your imagination and kind of go with it. It's his visual representation in his mind, right? So he's with this woman named Fabricia, and she's one of those who likes to step on the wild side. Go to the edge, that sort of thing, where she wants to pretend he has a knife, pretend to cut her while they're having sex and stuff like that, and get dangerous, right? Then he discovers that she's cheating on him with her college professor, who is in this vision played by Danny Houston, who is his wife Agatha's psychiatrist friend, I think he is. So that's his representation. And there's a scene where these two are having sex in the middle of the woods, and you get butt cheek from him and you get tits from her. I do not think it's either of them. I think it's body doubles. I mean, I've never seen Virginia Madsen naked, but personally, but I don't think those are her tits. I don't think she'd do a nude scene just for that. And it's in shadows mostly, so it's probably whatever. And I'm thinking, who does it in the woods? But it turned out when they do the twist and reveal what's really going on, that this did happen in the woods, but it wasn't, those actively, But, so he's the more he reads, the more he finds things are going, the cheating, Fingerling kills, because Agatha says that Fingerling becomes a killer. Fingerling kills Fabricia, and it is pinned on the college professor. Now, within the story, the college professor shows up, finds the knife, and then is arrested. And I'm like, okay, that is that's a writing tool, I guess. But that wouldn't happen. Well, in the real world events, that also happened when he picked up the knife and then was arrested. So I guess it's a writing tool for this movie, I guess. That's just how it works, I guess. His son is also in on this, and they're trying to figure out who wrote the book. The guy who wrote the book is named Top Secrets, which if you have half brain in your head is just top secrets. And when they trace the book back, they find this old guy who, upon seeing Walter, freaks out. And this is where I think Agatha gets cued in on what's really going on. The guy tries to kill himself or something, and Agatha says she'll handle it. And then Walter and his son figure out that every 23rd word from every 23rd page leads them to the location of the body of this Laura Tollins. Now, they hint Laura Tollins earlier when he follows Ned to this graveyard. And then later again, when he follows him there, he tranks him. And they say that he's like the guardian of the dead or something. Guarding their bodies or something. And then they find the body, but then they go to the cops. And here's where I have an issue, all right? They find the body and they both go. They just found a body in the ground. One of them needs to stay there just in case someone else comes to walk by and find the body anyway by accident. No, they both have to leave so that when they come back, the body's not there. They find it, the cops think it's a joke, whatever, body's not there. Then it's revealed that Agatha was the one who dug it up. Agatha and the doctor guy. Of course, he starts to think, he thinks, when he's reading the book, he thinks that Agatha's cheating on him with Danny Houston, but it's not true. By the way, Virginia Madsen and Danny Houston were married all the way back in the early 90s. But they weren't married here, but they're playing opposite each other, so I guess I have a decent relationship. I don't know. But this is where it gets weird. He jumps to the conclusion that she's top secrets. And I'm like, what? Just because she hid the body, he thinks she's top secrets? He thinks that she's top secrets? So it's about a lesbian relationship then? I don't know. It's supposed to be autobiographical, right? I don't know. As he's reading the book, it ends on a cliffhanger where the character's brother commits suicide. That's where it ends, and that's why he starts freaking out and tries to figure out where the rest of the story goes. But he thinks Agatha did it, but Agatha says no, it was him. That's the twist. It was Walter the entire time, and a lot of people look at the twist and go, "Oh, two ways with it. Oh, that's a little bit coincidental. He happens to find the book." But remember, the whole thing about this is that the number is after him. It's trying to find him. It's coming after him. It's connected to him. So that's why he finds the book again. He wrote it. It comes back to him. That sort of thing. And a lot of people will say, well, it's kind of obvious going through stuff, especially when we start saying, that he wrote things. But, yeah. So there's a key thing that leads to the 23rd room at this hotel. He finds that underneath the wallpaper is chapter 23, which shows everything that happens afterwards. The truth is that Fingerling is Walter Sparrow. We know that. We know that Laura Tollins was actually Fabricia. Fabricia was actually Laura Tollins. He was dating her, but she was cheating on him with her college professor, and he confronts her about it. She says she never loved him. One thing leads to another, and he ends up stabbing her in a fit of rage. And then the college professor gets arrested for it. There's a scene where he goes to visit him in the jail cell, and he kind of freaks out a little bit, because setting up the twist. But yeah, he committed all this. He did it, and then he committed suicide. But he didn't die. He just got some brain damage. He had some trauma, and then he went to a psychiatric hospital, and the memory of what had happened disappeared. For some reason, he remembered all of his memories growing up, and then just forgot everything to do with Laura Tollins. Lucky, right? Just happened to forget that. And then the day he left is the day he bumped into Agatha. For 13 years, they were happy until the book came up again. He wrote the book in manuscript pages, and then the doctor guy that he confronted earlier is the one that published it under Top Secrets. top secrets, you know. But yeah, and so he turns himself in. He says that they're gonna be kind of lenient on him. He's gonna go to. He's waiting for the sentencing, but he hopes that eventually there'll be a parole and he'll get out. It ends with him going to jail, the prison, basically. And you see that the college professor does get out. They do bury the body. They do, you know, have a memorial service for her. And yeah, it's kind of a weird ending. Like, yeah, there is a scene where he's about to commit suicide again. I do feel like that would have been the easy way out, though. He just, you know, goes back to what he was gonna do before. It's when he sees his son, though. You know, Dad, he stops, backs up so he doesn't get hit. And that, to me, tells me that in that moment, he's found that his family is more important. Because there's this scene that's well done when Agatha shows up at the hotel room and they have this conversation. He has lost it. He realizes he's a murderer. But if you go back and you read the story, if you read the chat, like the Fingerling novel thing is the fictionalized version where he just sort of went nuts. Here, in this version, it's almost like Laura egged him on to do it. And, you know, was saying all these things to piss him off to do it. And just in a fit of rage, he did it. And then, like, it was the one and only thing that he did, right? That he did bad, which is the same thing in the book. But in the book, the character is written to be darker, more on the level of someone who could snap. Whereas we find out the truth is that Walter was a normal guy who got cheated on and in a fit of rage killed his girlfriend. He freaked out. Walter now is having a clash of emotions, like, I'm a killer, I killed her, you know, and then I was like, I love you. Like, don't say that, I'm a killer, murderer. You know, he's going through all these conflicting emotions, and Jim Carrey plays it really well. Guys, I don't see the hate for this. I like this movie. In fact, I like it so much, I'm going to give it pretty good. I like this movie. I did doze off a little bit, but it's late. It's almost midnight now. But other than that, it does kind of slog a little bit in the middle, but it's not terrible. I did watch the unrated cut, so there is that. But yeah, it still holds up for me. I like it. So what are your thoughts on number 23? In the comments below, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. We got 3 more to go of these planned reviews, and I'm going to do some, like I said before, some bonus reviews, some bonus TV episodes of horror TV shows like Twilight Zone, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps, like that. I'm also going to do some Halloween episodes. I've done ones like I'm With Her, Halloween episode, and the Hughleys Halloween episode. I think one more. But there's others I want to do. So, thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.